And the third game is gonna be played on Alfheim. You can see that there's gonna be a bit of a return of the old gods. Joe and GrandMonster are gonna be using Ras. As MrWuffles is gonna be playing Isis, and Brickhead is gonna be playing Thor. At this point, I'm gonna be taking a look, actually, how's it looking with the rules on the maps and whatnot, because there was a bit of a confusion on my part. How's it looking? So, best of 5. Each team will choose 2 maps in best of 5. Okay, so yeah, it's basically all chosen from all the maps in the game. And you cannot choose the same map twice, that's kind of obvious, of course. And gods are, everybody can play whatever they want. So, the first map, Acropolis, was definitely map for MCB. The second one then was a map for dots. Right now we should be coming back for MCBs, and the next one is gonna be for dots as well. Yeah, well, okay. So double Ra, Thor and Isis, plenty of Egyptians in here. Just Brickhead is gonna be breaking the party, which is something I like to see, of course. As we do like something else than Egyptians usually. So here we go. Game number 3 is starting. Gold placement seems to be right off the bat kinda on the interesting side for Joe, because he could be maybe a bit abused from the front. But since we are on Alfheim, it probably is not gonna be happening. Just a few more walls and potentially even just houses or whatever is gonna be making sure that this hole is being plugged. First relic already right there, the tooth arrows for better archers and ballistas. Nice. For actual archers, of course, that's gonna be making plenty of difference for him. Otherwise, you might just as well turn off the Fog of War and see what the opponents are having as a map as well. And the TCs are funny. The TCs are right off the bat funny. This is the front Joe. This is kind of okay, even though apparently the Wolfies are not gonna be all that friendly. For Wolves, that's potentially an issue if he sends just a few villages in there. But he's of course gonna be coming for the deer as well, which he has just now discovered, and that should be making for quite a nice start for him. We'll need to plug a hole in there, as the Cowie is just scouting all around. And we will of course have in the Ras, which means rocks, which means platforms and catapults. Okay, so that might potentially be funny. This is not in the range of the TC, this is not really any kind of huge threat. Might be a problem if Joe places a Migdol about here. Then, yeah, I can definitely see this being an issue. Otherwise, this platform, what is it gonna do? Not much. This is not in range. This is too far. This is too far. This is too far from there, but otherwise, the platforms are literally everywhere. Literally everywhere. I'm kinda expecting some kind of shenanigans with that, because the double Ras in that, they might be wanting to abuse that. They definitely might. But yeah, the TC seems to be, or rather seem to be fairly safe, not really all that much of an issue with that. But some kind of extra build-up, like fortresses somewhere in the middle, could be actually denied, or yeah, they definitely could be. Anyway, otherwise gold mines, for example, behind the base of MCB are in pretty good numbers. You can see 3 big gold mines, that's a very nice bonus for them. Oh, yeah, and if you look at dots, maybe they're not gonna be that happy about it. You can see 1 large gold mine behind, then 1 in kinda between them, that could be considered safe as well. That is not a bad position. This is fairly close as well. Kinda liking this. I'm expecting that Joe will be protecting it by a Migdol. Really expecting a Migdol about here. Or if he's under some kind of pressure, then here. Really thinking he's not gonna be wanting to let this gold go away from his game. As of course, this is base, gold mine, and save gold mine for Brickhead right inside his base. So they're having about 2.5 to 3. It's not really that different from the opponents then. But yeah, well, they still do have quite nice options. You can see on the left Wuffles. On the way to his front TC, this is gonna be one also quite easily gettable for him. And once he gets the TC, he is having this one also. So far, I'm kinda liking the map for MCBs. Slightly better than for dots. It's looking a bit more prominent in the gold placements and whatever. As this one is gonna be fairly easy for GrandMonster to capture as well. Wall there, and it's his. And it's gonna be, of course, a bit tricky with this TC, which might be kinda tempting for Brickhead, I'm thinking. His front TC is kinda sucky, doesn't do anything at all. Well, gives you a bit of a gold in there, but otherwise not hugely important for map control. But this one could be, yeah, already gonna be discovering it, and that's gonna be meaning that he potentially knows that there is a point how to abuse GrandMonster. If he somehow can. And it will be giving him the gold in there, and Yeah, would be. It's a potential for abuse for him. In the meantime, we are at 4 minutes, almost getting there, so the advances are gonna be coming in as well. Let's check the relics, because there are always plenty on Alfheim. Better building crush armor. That's an important one, actually. Especially for the Egyptians, gonna be making them a whole lot harder to crack. And also the Sphinx. Wow, really? Better building hit points, better crush armor for buildings. This is like a... this is like a duo from hell. Especially looking at Brickhead, if he's not gonna be getting them, and the Egyptians will be getting them for themselves. It's not good news for him. He should be taking care of those. Better villager farming rate with Russ in the game. Yet again, quite a crucial relic that could be making a difference. Arrows of Alpha, this is better building pierce attack. That is also quite an interesting one. This time especially for Joe, because he's the Egyptian on his team and he can basically use them most efficiently. Relic at the top triggers bow for Archer Ballista range. Oh, that's a good complement to the other relic that already Joe has for the better attack. Yeah, better attack for archers. This should be going for chariot archers as well, unless there's something unexpected that I wouldn't be expecting, of course. And with the extra 2 range. Whoa. That's a bit tricky. That's a bit tricky to defend. Imagine chariot archers with all that bonus. That's bad. And better tower and... tower melee and ranged attack. Well, really good relics. Quite significantly good relics all across the map. This is gonna be the very last one for better villager hit points. And oh well. So far I don't see anybody capturing them, which is just kinda disappointing, but I'm hoping it's gonna be changing. I'm having my fingers crossed that's gonna be happening, because those relics, they are game winning relics, really, if you use them properly. Especially on such a high level matchup that we're having today. And we're watching. So of course this is gonna be exactly the walling that you're expecting. Would be maybe expecting a bit more forward displacement by Joe. Basically use it a bit more in between. This is kind of weird. But yeah, it's just nothing really major. It's just small thing. Nothing all that important. And I'm kind of thinking that Joe is just gonna be waiting here. Gonna be maybe even establishing himself right next to the TC. And trying to basically keep it for himself for as long as possible. You can see that villages for Wuffs are not really all that far away. Ptach is coming up. Ptach is coming up. And well, what's gonna happen then? He's still having plenty of Aurochs. I'm really kind of curious what's gonna happen in the classical age. Because you'll be expecting that the ISIS will be fast heroic in. That's like the go-to strategy in Vanilla. They just basically don't do anything else. And in that case, Joe will be having a free reign, or other free option to actually go for that as well. And then it's gonna be fight for this TC, which should be won by, of course, the ISIS with the ancestors. Let's see what happens. Definitely curious what happens, as I'm not entirely certain. In the meantime, there's a lot of walling going on in the right side, which definitely makes plenty of sense. And Brickhead, oh, this is clever. This is clever actually by him, because he wants to deny. Yeah, especially this one is supremely nice, because he wants to basically deny easy walling to GrandMonster. And in that case, he might be forcing him into some kind of mistakes with that, and allowing him to basically go into the enemy all that easier. And basically escape from any kind of pursuing army. It's not like there's gonna be pursuing army from GrandMonster, like Egyptians are just gonna be heading into a heroic age. You can see that, of course, Joe is right there with his armory coming up, and oh yeah, this is looking like that he might be actually losing him. That he didn't just judge the situation all that properly. It seems he might be losing him, but yeah, decides better to actually run away, and it's gonna be just a bit of a nuisance at least once his opponent tries to go for this gold. Otherwise, of course, everything going fairly according to plan. Not that much of a problem as... Joe given extra wood for which? For what, actually? He doesn't need it. So why did he ask for it? Can we actually discover that? Because I cannot. Plenty of villages on the gold. That is gonna be running out, of course, therefore quite soon. Right now he went for some kind of upgrade. Okay, he went actually for Shaduf. Yeah, so that's the reason why he needed all the wood. Right. Yep, 200 wood. 200 wood, that's the reason why he was actually needing all the extra wood. Okay, to be able to get the upgrade exactly in time, and was able to do actually all the rest that he wants to do as well. So that's that. Joe, in the meantime, gonna be finishing with the armory. Still kind of far away, of course, with his food, which is kind of interesting that he chose. You can see he apparently chose quite a lot of different strategy. That GrandMonster, because he wasn't even ready to take advantage of the enemy rain, which is gonna be giving significant advantage right about now to MCB, because of course he's like right now having basically 2 minutes of rain, and he's gonna be happy. He's gonna be very happy because he's already halfway into Hathor, and he's just getting so much extra food that I'm thinking it wouldn't be all that impossible to just basically jump Mythic from this position.
In which?
Yeah, you can see he's already having the gold for that. He's having the gold for that. Is he like... Kinda right now waiting if there's gonna be indication that he could be actually really thinking about jumping the Mythic right here. Because you can see he's already having the food. What's gonna be going, or rather going to do Brickhead. It doesn't seem that he's doing anything all that much, just getting one of the relics. One of the crucial relics in the game. And yeah, GrandMonster, not really going for anything unusual. Gonna be dropping the McB, and after that I'm thinking he's just gonna be switching into the second TC behind his base. Going for a bit more... Going for a bit more economy in there. And I see a bit of problems in the chat. Liberal Nation, really tone it down. You basically, every stream you do, you just basically flame for no reason. So, yeah, I'm just gonna ask you nicely. Stop with that. Or just basically leave. Or you will be left. It's your choice. I don't really need you here to be spoiling the fun for everybody else. So, let's keep things nice and continue with the game in here, as there's not really all that much happening in here so far. Not that much happening so far, as Brickhead is already a second TC, because he advanced as well, and it's almost looking like the Brickhead could be coming for some fast Ragnarok. Wouldn't be discounting the possibilities, of course, gonna be spamming plenty of economy now. He is going for plenty of hill forts though, and Ancestors are gonna be cast, of course, in here, trying to stop the McB. Oh, well, that's important right now. Wuff's getting the upper hand, of course. He's gonna be even getting the TC on the lap. And this is very well done. This is very well done. Darudo, this is no argument. What are you exactly talking about? What are you exactly talking about? This is just basically somebody flaming for no reason. And I trying to ask him to be nice. So, it's absolutely nothing like what you're saying. As of course the Ancestors are gonna be even more significant issue as they are getting already into the base. The McB has been at least finished. This is gonna be quite a significant help. Quite a significant help overall. And that is gonna be meaning, of course, that the economy is gonna be slowed down. At least those guys will be dying a bit easier. But with all of these siege towers coming in there, yeah, gonna be hard. Gonna be hard to stop because the extra TC is there. Even though for Joe it is as well. Right now you can see that this push forward is quite strong and the delay for Joe is quite significant, and it's probably gonna be up to Brickhead to somehow resolve the situation for him. Now this is really not getting all that easier, and yep, Brickhead is already coming forward. Already coming forward in here. As Brickhead is also taking 30C. So far it seems that Brickhead is actually doing quite a good job. 15 cents for... Oh hell. Oh hell right about now for dots. Because GrandMonster is joining into the fun. As Locus are gonna be cast in here, trying to kill as many villagers from the red player as possible, which is not a bad thought by Joe at all. He could have probably cast it slightly better, because they apparently right now gonna be hiding inside the siege towers. So nicely played. Nicely played indeed in here. As of course, this is gonna be getting a bit tricky. Oh well, goodbye all the farms. Goodbye all the farms. Yet again, nice usage of the god power of Locus, trying to get rid of all of it. And if it's gonna be the cloud getting onto the left side as well. Apparently not. It seems like Joe is gonna be getting lucky. But he had a bit of better timing. And better shifting sense by GrandMonster right on top of the TC. Could have been killing it. Most definitely. So that was kind of misplayed by MCB slightly. That's a bit of a shame. And it's of course giving the great opportunity to Brickhead to save his teammate. He's doing exactly that with all the Ulf Jarls already. So this is nice teamwork by them. And that's an opportunity missed. Definitely opportunity missed for MCBs because Joe was kind of dead. If the shifting sands were right on top of the TC, Joe was toastish. Significantly so. But he still did lose plenty of economy in there. Plenty of farms that he will have to invest into rebuilding. Let's check Joe. Yeah, he doesn't have all that much gold, to be honest, to replace all that many farms. That's just like 10 farms dead. And even though he's having discount right about now, through of course having the shadow, 47 gold is still not too few. And replacing 10 farms is like 470 gold, which is not something that he can spend at this point all that much. But yeah, the combination of their armies, Joe's camels with all those Jarls from Brickhead, that seems to be working quite well, with a few Ulfsarks in there as well. And it doesn't seem that actually GrandMonster would be supplying anything to the left side at this point. He seems to be a whole lot more interested in the right, and that makes kind of sense because he needs to secure the front TC and doesn't want it to fall into Brickhead's hands in any way. Going for the second at the back right about now. MrWuffles is still at the 3 and he's having 1 available to him. So can he actually take it in some kind of good manner? Yeah, he probably shouldn't. You can see he's out of army. Like, totally out of army, 65 population limit. Is he actually even rebuilding? I don't really see it. That's very slow. Yeah, because he's having just 1 Migdol. Okay. At this point, I'm kind of thinking that even this army could be taken on the TC on the left. Interesting. So they were having some strong push MCBs, and suddenly they're facing quite a difficult situation. Not really GrandMonster on the right, but Wuffles could be losing the TC here if it's played correctly by Joe. He might be right now just basically not interested in the attack though, and just stabilizing the situation, hoping that he can get the economy up and basically get back into some kind of reasonable position. Oh, this is a nice little trap almost. Luckily for him, this is Brickhead's wall, so he can still escape. He can still escape from this position, and he doesn't necessarily need to go right under the Migdol. Yeah, well, that's gonna be, of course, helping him if actually he's gonna be avoiding that. Apparently not. But luckily for him, there's at least no granulation. No granulation, so the camels are not gonna be picked off all that easily. But this is a sad place for a fight, to be honest, though. Like, why would you fight here? You are having a little army. Your opponent is not having a whole lot better, even though you can beat the army. Like, why take such significant losses against the Migdol? But anyway, he probably right now is trying to, like, push Wuffles away from this position, hoping that he can somehow get him to fight somewhere a bit different. Yeah, well, 4 TC finished, and for Wuffles, not entirely certain the 4 TC is a good idea. I would be maybe thinking a bit more about trying to advance into the Mythical Age, as there was a bit of an attempt by Rock dropping. Yeah, the Rock is apparently gonna die to Serkav the second. There was a Rock drop on the TC, which did succeed. You can see the TC is down, but that was just a temporary measure. And in the meantime, of course, the siege works are gonna be falling, and GrandMonster not doing a bad job in here, but he's gonna be needing a whole lot more because, of course, flaming weapons are coming up. Great Jarls already, and of course some baseline of upgrades is also there. So, against no upgrades whatsoever, this is gonna be fairly easy. And just please go for the granulations. You're facing plenty of horses. You're facing Jarls, and you don't have granulations, at least in your mind. That's a bit of a shame. Because that's making a lot of difference, of course, in the fights. And the horses do suffer for that. And that's something that I would like to see from the Egyptians right about now. They should be probably recognizing the strategy chosen by Brickhead and react to that accordingly. And that would be spamming towers with granulations. And in that case, yeah, well, good luck. Because that would be really forcing Brickhead to switch the army into something that he didn't upgrade yet. Because he basically spent a lot of resources on getting Ulf and Great Jarls. So, of course, not that wouldn't be that huge news for him. But of course, right about now, he is advancing forward through all the through all the units that he's having as opposed to his opponent, who couldn't really fight him there at all. He would just be losing absolutely everything, and that is gonna be resulting into Brickhead taking TC for himself. Yeah, I don't exactly see how the GrandMonster could be stopping that. So it's gonna be 4 versus 2. There is 4 versus 2 on the left side. It's not going all that well for Wuffles, because Wuffles so far is not really having the economy for that. You can see he's having the resources, but so far I'm kinda thinking he's having still just one McDoll, and that's gonna be the problem for him, right? Yeah, that's the issue. That's the long-standing issue. He's having literally one McDoll at 16 minutes game time. He's having so many resources even in bank. You can see 800 food. The gold right now dropped, but that's because he was investing into something, into caravans, I think, or simply into something. He was investing because he was having just a moment ago quite plenty of gold that just basically disappeared. And with the McDoll gone, maybe it was clicking into army in there. And that's why it was right now coming back. But yeah, this is just... He's just kind of shooting himself in the foot quite significantly. Quite significantly so. But of course, that's gonna be meaning quite a good advantage for the ATs of that potentially to be gained. And it seems that the TC is gonna be falling. Yeah, right now it's gonna be most assuredly falling. More elephants, no upgrades on them. So Joe is not really all that different as far as it goes in all the upgrades. But well, he's at least right now having the advantage. But he is also having just one McDoll at this point. But he was under attack, so with him, it's slightly, ever so slightly understandable. But with Wuffles, it's a bit of a shame. Could have seen it in what state he was, especially since he was investing into the extra TC. Like, the investment would be, in my opinion, a whole lot better if he just went for the McDoll a whole lot sooner instead of the TC. Like, turn it around. But yeah, well, those are the decisions that are making or breaking games, of course. In the meantime, of course, on the right there is a bit of an attempt by Brickhead to push forward, which is gonna be infinitely difficult, as he needs to go through the choke points, and yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. Towers are coming up. That's gonna be the death of the Jarls, and they're gonna be needing to be replaced by the Huskarls, of course. Which is already kinda happening, but the horses are still there. But he should be using this. Yeah, he kinda needs to be using this for some kind of sneaky attack. Because GrandMonster is absolutely unaware that this kind of problem could be happening. Or rather, he should be aware from a bit before, but he's not paying any attention to it. Any attention at all. Yeah, well, that's what kinda tends to happen. Is it really attacking? Yeah. Yeah, the siege tower is actually literally attacking through the forest. Into temple. Well... yeah, that's what you get when you are having this way placed trees, actually. Anyway, on the left side we see the equal battle on 3v3. As far as TCs goes, as Joe is pushing forward, trying to get rid of the McDoll. But it seems that the mercenaries will be saving Wuffles, at least at this point of the game. Still kinda openish. There are plenty of towers, so it seems like that maybe I was wrong. But apparently Joe is gonna be giving up, because of course part also of the Scorpion Man, who is a bit of a problem to any kind of cavalry, even including the elephants. So yep, a good unit choice. But of course Joe was able to take this TC, which is why he's at 3. And we're gonna be looking if maybe some mythical age is somewhere nearby. But what is his 45 TCs with the population limit above Wuffles? So that might be a help for him. And looking at the economy, as he is basically a house at this point, he might be really gathering enough resources for the mythical age at this point. Really could be. Yeah, well, that seems like an option for him. In the meantime, of course, Brickhead is finally pushing through with a bit of raiding, getting exactly where he needed to go. And he was actually pushing surprisingly through the middle. There was a hole made by him that is already being repaired by Wuffles. For some reason, still not taking the route on the right. Maybe, just maybe, Brickhead is actually keeping it for a bit later. As some kind of basically killing blow. Sending units through there, maybe when he actually gets into the mythical age and gets the Ragnarok, to basically just push it through there. But at this point, if he's gonna be getting Ragnarok, like, who cares? He can just basically go through the front door. He doesn't really need to go from some side door all that much. But anyway, TC down. This is actually an important moment because Wuffles is gonna be significantly disadvantaged against Joe. So the McDoll is up prepared, that's nice. But Joe needs to find some other way into the enemy base, which could be, for example, here, if he can open it. Oh, there is actually a freeway as well on the left side there. So maybe he could be going through both? Maybe. Because this one is always gonna be problematic because of the McB. So might be a better idea on the left. But yeah, well, that's that. As we are waiting for the Horus for Joe, and the army is coming here into its conclusion. Well, the conclusion of its life. As well, of course, the mercenaries are gonna be helping as well as the 30 C4 WAFs has been put up yet again. Well, GrandMonster advancing through Osiris having very good economy, as he's still having kinda not enough luck getting against Brickhead. You can see there was a pretty strong attempt to actually push forward through some siege towers, but unfortunately didn't work out for him, because of course even architects are right now present for Brickhead, having so many upgrades at this point, as he's almost ready to call it for his Ragnarok. You can see iron, and the last one is bronze, but that's gonna be one hell of a Ragnarok for him. And yeah, this seems at this point to be heading into very difficult situation for MCB. Very difficult situation indeed. So Joe coming with Horus, that's here. I'm thinking placing it here is not a bad idea. It's either killing plenty of economy, including trade, or it's killing a TC and maybe even the McB. Yeah, go for it. Outcast it here. That's making plenty of sense to me at this point. Looking how the game is going. He's having also some kind of supporting powers in there, so that will be helping him as well, as a few Jarls are still very much present, and oh, they're gonna be getting a few souls into the underworld. Yeah, that kinda sucks. Kinda sucks for GrandMonster in here all around. Anyway, the tower is gone, with Son of Osiris gonna be coming up as well for GrandMonster right about now. He needs to heal Userkaf, of course, or he's gonna be using the god power on him. And there we go. There we go, as he's gonna be turned into Son of Osiris just about now. And on the left side, of course, there's a push forward, and apparently even without the tornado, he's having enough. Oh well, right now we are getting the 45 DC from us. That's gonna be slowing things down at least a bit. And thank you very much, Legendary Raider. That's exactly a good point. Why the tornado is not coming here? Because, yes, he's an ISIS and there is a monument. Yeah, that's something I completely forgot. I was just kind of, in the mindset that all three are actually Ras, and here we go. Yeah, Joe actually wanted to cast it, and right now we finally can. But since it is actually fortified, it's not all that ensured that it's gonna be dying. You can see finally crenellations are present against both the elephants, potentially, and all the horses from Brickhead. Yeah, is it down? Is it down? 3, 2, 1, yeah. with its last breath and last turn, it was actually taking down the TC, which will allow Joe to come forward quite significantly fast right now. And even though there's an upturn by GrandMonster to yet again somehow assault at least the TC, and much more importantly get rid of the ballistae that are a bit of an issue in there, as they are not really how bad in controlling the opponent. There is finally this part of the map is being used by Brickhead, and he is building a hill fort in there, and that's gonna be a sneak for the game, it seems like, because this is gonna be totally unexpected for GrandMonster. But apparently it's not gonna be coming even into that, as Wuffles is resigning, recognizing that Joe, with all the upgrades that he's right now having, it's a bronze, and copper in there, and having champions is just gonna be a bit too much for Wuffles to handle. Because Wuffles, he's not having bad upgrades himself, baseline in there, and the bronze. But yeah, well, he's just gonna produce fast enough. I'm really kinda thinking that MCBs did have a chance to actually win the game. First, if they drop better on Joe's TC. And second, if Wuffles actually wasn't relying on just one McB. If he was having at least two, I'm thinking he would be able to control Joe a whole lot better, and probably just basically beat him, because Joe was kinda heavily damaged in the double in the early game. And that's the kind of momentum that you're actually looking for to kinda keep towards the later game. But this was, of course, on the right side, well played by Brickhead, who saved his teammate at exactly the right moment. He was at the correct times, at the correct places in the early game. And then, of course, he was just a bit too much to handle for GrandMonster. And once the TC was stolen, it was kinda getting always tricky for GrandMonster. And especially that raid there definitely helped. Slowing down Wuffles even more, taking down the TC. So yeah, overall, the team of Deities of Death won, and they are leading in the match. So here we are with the post game. That's gonna be Brickhead quite deservedly having the highest score, as he kind of was the most influential player in the game. Second one was probably Wuffles. It was a very good push. Darude, yeah, I'm gonna be sending you a link. There are not really brackets because it's a group stage kinda, but I'm gonna be sending you a link just now. Oops, didn't want that. There, if you scroll a bit down, you're gonna be having the rounds, basically the schedule of the rounds, and then also the results for the first one. That is really one result. So, if you want this spoiled, yeah, of course, everybody should be aware that there is a spoiler for this match, of course. So if you don't want this spoiled, who's gonna win, then don't look there. But yeah, let's continue going through the post game, where Brickhead is gonna be winning everything, and quite deservedly so. Quite deservedly so. Yeah, even the upgrade is the best in there. This is kind of funny, Grab, because it's almost looking like that this is like Ragnarok. You can see the huge increase, but actually it isn't. This is just basically 40 population was the most of the army limit. And everybody was just basically right now all around like 23. That was like the level, the niveau of the army. And that's why even Joe's, or rather Brickhead's, full pop army was so unusual that it's like a jump that you see in Age of Mythology, the Titans with Ragnarok. If there was even Ragnarok, it would be like, I don't know, 10 centimeters above the monitor at this point. So it's kind of funny. It's really not something you see too often in Titans. Well, GG.